All right, we're live. We're live, everyone. Sorry for the little, delay, but welcome to the Second City Life podcast, episode 4. Man, we made it to episode 4. Last year, I only made it to episode 3, man. I already broke last year's record.
There
already,
you
right?
go. That's always a
I
great
made,
thing.
I made it past the little hutch right there. So for everyone who's tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Episode 4. Today on the podcast, we got a friend of mine, coach, player, mentor, leader in the community, business owner. Did I miss anything?
That's about it.
We got Bobby Murillo right here, right? So I want to welcome him on the podcast show here. And for everybody who's viewing, I got a few things that I want to talk about before I go ahead and we'll start off with who you are and talk to everybody. So first things first, I will be looking for a couple of moderators for the Facebook lives.
Okay.
There have been a few bad apples that I've seen, not just on the Facebook lives, but also when I go live, like at games. They're jumping in here with like fake accounts and they're just kind of starting trouble, just speaking nonsense. So, it happens. I think it happens to just about every stream.
Yeah, you're always gonna have those type of people.
So, if you're interested in becoming a moderator, you're gonna have to tune in every single Thursday, until the season ends. But you would be part of the community. That's the whole point of this. Build the community.
Yep.
So send me a DM. For those who don't know me, my name's Edgar. I'm pretty sure anybody who's tuning in knows me by name.
Great guy.
Send me a message. So like, hey, I'm interested in helping you out, moderator. I'll figure out. Still don't know the ins and outs of how to make you the mod, but I'm pretty sure I can figure that out how.
Yeah.
And then that way you can kind of keep the chat in check, because I can't be having that. So let's see here. Make sure everything should be good. But other than that, I have one more announcement. Announce that at the end of the show. So stick with us to the end, and I think you're gonna enjoy what I'm gonna say at the end.
Stay tuned for that. It's definitely cool.
But that's enough about that. So Bobby, thanks for coming on the show, man.
No, I appreciate you having me, man. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We had a busy day yesterday, right?
Oh yeah, it was pretty intense. It was it was a great game. It was a wild one. It was fun.
So yesterday, just for those who don't know, let me check. Can you jump on your phone real quick? Let's just check the stream, make sure everything's live, because on my camera here it says we're still in standby. Want to make sure we are not.
1 second, guys.
You shouldn't be, but you never know. Nope, I think we're good. We're good. It just switched itself. So, going back before I rudely interrupted. So for those who don't know, Coach Bobby and Coach Eddie, who was here on the episode last week, they both coach a pony league team.
Yep.
Right. The Blue Island White Sox, you want to call them?
Blue Island Sox.
You guys went undefeated up into the championship.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey. How was that?
So me and myself and Coach Eddie, we've been with this group of kids for the last, I want to say, 7 years. Pretty much since T-ball. We've known these kids, on and off the field. It's definitely been a journey with them, watching them grow, watching them mature into these young gentlemen, and just taking what we teach them and bringing that into the games when we're present, watching that, So it's an awesome thing. Like I said, we've been with these kids for a while, so watching them develop is just, it's just an awesome thing. Me and Coach Eddie, we take a lot of time away from our personal lives and stuff like that, but I wouldn't trade it for the world also, because at the same time, me and Coach Eddie, we get to coach our sons as well.
Okay.
They're teammates with each other, so I get to coach my son, I get to coach his friends, I get to coach his teammates, I get to be, hey, Who doesn't want to be with Coach Eddie, right? Shout out to Coach Eddie, man. That's my dog. But up until yesterday, it was fun. We were in the Crestwood fall ball tournament that they had in the pony division, which ranges from anywhere from 13, I believe, to 15. I have my son play up all the time, and I've been having him play up just for my personal reasons to just make him become better. He can hang with the big dogs. So yesterday it was a pretty intense game. They came out the better guys yesterday, but hey, we fought our hearts out, and we gave it all we had until the end. And that's all that matters. Win or lose, that doesn't define who you are. So, I mean, hey, it's like I said yesterday to the parents after our game, it's never a goodbye. It's until next year and the off season. We just put in that work and we get back out there.
Yeah,
can't win them all.
Yeah, I think, and I saw the kids, everybody, all the kids who were out there, they were excited to play in the game.
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome.
But like we all know, baseball, it's just you can go undefeated, but doesn't mean you're gonna win the big game.
Exactly.
Right?
Anything can happen, man.
But I think those you guys are teaching those kids pretty well, because honestly, they kept their heads up for most of the game to the end. Good sportsmanlike, conduct at the end of the game. They went and shook their hands, even if they lost. They were a little bit mad, some calls and stuff like that. But honestly, I'm sure they had fun. I'm sure they're gonna come back, next year, next season, even stronger. Yeah. To make an even longer run.
Yeah, we'll be back.
But a question. So, what's the difference between how you coach right now, this team, versus how you were coached when you first started?
So that is a great question. Me, myself, I was a late bloomer, I would call myself. I never played baseball like in an organization as a kid. I really didn't start getting into baseball till I was, honestly, and I say this truthfully, guys, probably till I was about 23 years old. I never played in Little League. I never played in high school. I never played no college ball. One day I decided, hey, I want to join a team and I want to start playing, kind of like how yourself, right?
That's like a my list. Yeah. Like, is that me right now?
So it's funny. People are like, hey man, how long have you been playing baseball? But it's not about what type of team you've been on, what college you went to, what high school you went to, because that can all end in the moment of seconds, right?
Yep. So
it's baseball. You got to have a good baseball IQ for one. You got to be strong up here mentally. So, I mean, what I just tell these kids, man, you just got to get out there and you got to just do what you got to do. Tell them you got to stay locked in. You got to stay focused. You strike out, hey, you're going to get another at bat. Don't get in your head. Why? Because you got a important position just to play as well on the field, not just batting. But me, myself, like I said, I was definitely a late bloomer, I would say. And as a kid, I would play baseball, on the streets with my friends. Mm-hmm. We would make these taped up. We would get newspapers, bunch them together, and we would just go to the dollar store, get tape, and tape them up, and just use literally sticks or anything we could find, and just use the sewer caps as the bases, Oh,
so okay.
It was hey, let's go and play some baseball. And then, we started getting the little wiffle balls. Never got our hands on actual baseballs, I don't know why, but that's kind of how I got into baseball, honestly. And my little brother was the baller.
Okay.
My little brother was the one who, played Little League, played in high school. They didn't play college ball, but I will say my little brother, shout out to Brian, he was the baller in the family. I let him get into the Little League, with my mother being a single mother of 5, I kind of just let her, get him into that stuff. And I said, hey, you know what? I'll just sit back and just kind of go from there,
Okay. And so what sport did you play growing up?
I played football in high school, but I only played my freshman year, and I wasn't the best academically wise, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I kind of was the knucklehead growing up. Got a little into the streets a little bit and tried to be the cool kid. And, you know, I just wasn't really focused on sports coming up. I was more focused on other things that I shouldn't have been focused on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens. Nobody's perfect in this world. To me, I don't believe that exists. That does not exist. You learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
And you just got to keep it going.
See, I think a lot of people don't understand this, and they say that it's not true. They can deny it all they want, but honestly, did you grow up in Chicago? For the most part?
No, well, I'm born and raised in Blue Island.
Blue Island,
Yeah,
Chicago.
but I mean, it's so close. I mean, some people say, "Hey, you're from the suburb. You're not from Chicago."
I mean, check this out. I live in Chicago. This is Chicago here, and you just go down the road and it's Blue Island.
Yeah, so it's to me that doesn't matter. I mean, Chicago, Blue Island, the lifestyle.
Unless you're talking about Naperville, you're talking about you're from Chicago. No, bro, you're from Naperville. Yeah. But no, honestly,
for sure, I understand that.
I think, you know, growing up in areas like here, the city, even some of the little local suburbs, does play a factor in some of like the way your upbringing comes out to be, especially once you get to those teenage years.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about myself because I can relate to exactly what you said. So academically, I was a straight A student.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a straight A student. I don't know why. I just kind of, you know, my parents were just like, nope, you got to get good grades, and they would punish me and whatnot. But when I got to high school, honestly, the high school that I went to Gage Park.
Okay.
I just learned the other day that at least as of last year, it's actually top 10 worst high schools in the state.
Wow.
In the state. It's supposed to be listed to close this year. And then they're closing it down. But what am I trying to say? So when I was actually graduating from 8th grade, going to my freshman year, I didn't want to go to that school.
Okay.
I was, again, a really smart kid. And I'm like, hey, I want to go to these other high schools. I played basketball. So, you know, I wanted to go to the Lane Techs, the Walter Paynes, the Whitney Young schools. And parents were like, no, you're going to go to that neighborhood school. Because they were kind of tired of having to drag me around and trying to figure out how I'm going to get from home to school and all that. And they didn't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I was a little bit naive when it comes to the street life.
Yeah.
You know, call it because I was the nerd, but I wasn't so much, but I did know a little bit of it.
Right.
And when I got to high school, dude, my freshman year, all it takes is like, you know, now we call it bullying, you know, people getting bullied.
Yeah.
But back then, I don't think I can say I was bullied, but it started off with exactly how you see it on TV, like just how you see it on movies, like just walking home from school one day, and then some dudes rolled up on me and say, "Hey man, what you is?" And I'm like, "Oh, nothing." I was like, at that point, I was a little bit naive. What are they talking about?
Yeah, you don't know what the hell they were talking about.
You know,
like, what?
And so they were trying to make me drop gang signs.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And then they asked me, where do you live? Again, I'm a little bit naive still at that point. And I said, well, I live over there on that side of that street over there, blah, blah. They at that point said, because I lived where I live, you're part of that gang.
Yeah, they assumed that you were, you live on this street. You're this. You live on this side. You're that.
And, you know, that day I kind of got away with it and nothing happened. I just kind of went about my day. But it didn't stop from there. And because it didn't stop, honestly, I felt at least at the moment that I was kind of faced with what's to say, between a wall and a hard place.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what do I do? You know,
Right.
My parents wanted me to come here, and now this is happening. So one thing led to another thing, and I kind of ended up getting involved in the wrong things. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, because of that, I wasn't able to play any sports. You know, wasn't able to do any of those things. Managed to somehow still get good grades. You know,
that's good.
It's as crazy as that sounds. I still managed to get good grades, and trying to kind of get on by. And I remember getting into so much trouble in high school. And but they would never suspend me.
No.
No, most I ever got was like in school suspension.
In schools, good old in schools.
Because they're like, I remember the assistant principal, the disciplinarian, and all that go like, we can't kick out one of our top students in the school.
He's got A's and A's and A's.
And I remember sitting like this with dudes, and they're like, "What do you mean I'm getting 14-day suspension?" And he's just gonna a slap on the wrist.
Oh man!
And I'm like, "Well, are you like you got straight? You're failing all your classes. He's got straight A's,
Yeah.
Call it favoritism or whatnot." But honestly, that kind of kept me away from joining a lot of the sports. I ended up dropping out my senior year in high school. Did not graduate from high school, unfortunately. But if I look at it now, I can't say that I would ever want to go through that path ever again, but it definitely shaped out who I am right now.
For sure, man.
It almost put a little chip on my shoulder to the point where, like, when I graduated from college in 2019, right before the pandemic, I was able to walk across stage from DePaul University. That was almost like a chip off my shoulder, because it's like, oh, look, after everything, some of those things were my mistakes that I did. I can't blame other people, because ultimately, you're a young adult and you make a decision.
Yeah, for
you have
sure.
to live
You
with
make
it.
your own. Yep. I agree 100%.
When I graduated from college, I was like, it was a proud moment for me to say that, hey, I did it. I came up through that, that rough childhood, and for part of it my fault, part of it not my fault, but I made it out, and I am who I am now.
Yep.
Which is kind of why I everything I do, I just put all my effort into it. Try to see things through and through until I just it's done, where I feel like it's kind of done.
Yeah.
But I do kind of looking back, I wish I would have played some sports. I mean, even like baseball now. 35 years old, basically learning.
Yeah.
I'm like, TJ from the Sox, who I played with on the side siders during fall ball. He said, Edgar, don't feel bad if you make mistakes out there. You are, baseball wise, you're an adult and you can make better plays than a kid would. But see it as you're just a little kid just learning how to play the game right now. So you're gonna make mistakes, and you're trying to run when you're just crawling.
Yeah.
So but it's nice. It's cool to know that I'm not a late bloomer myself. There's other late bloomers in the league.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, it's you're gonna do what you're gonna do regardless. I mean, it's awesome that you actually like you have it inside of you, and I saw your progress, on your videos, and you going live and posting on your story of you going in the cages and your swing, working on it. And I just saw the progress, and I was like, man, that's cool. And that just proves to show you that, if you want to try something, you put your mind to it, you could do anything you want to do. People are going to, people are going to talk on the sidelines, and they're going to want to try to say, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? Or why does he want to get into this so late in life? And it's just like, mind your business. It's my life. You have your life. Yep. You decide what you want to do with yours. And hey, I'm going to have some fun along the way with mine. So, mad props, you getting into baseball at 30, what'd you say?
35.
There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that's pretty cool, because there's a lot of 35-year-olds that I know that are huffing and puffing, and they're just my backs and my legs, and they can't even do any of that stuff. So hey, hats off to you, props to you, man. You keep doing what you got to do, man.
Thanks, man. So how long? So you started playing baseball pretty late.
Yeah.
How'd you come into the league? How'd you come into Blue Island?
So, the first team that I was ever on was the Blue Island Brewers. Shout out to the Brewers. There's a couple originators still on that team that I played with and I shared the diamond with at that time. Freddie Aguilar I believe he ran the league at that time, and it was really small. It was probably 8 teams, I want to say, that were in the league at the time. And I think my older brother, Benny, shout out to my older brother, Benny. He's in the league as well. I think he asked me, hey, do you want to play? The Brewers have a couple open spots. And I remember at the time, Alvaro, he's actually an original Brewer, which a lot of you people may not know. I know he's a South Sider now. Hats off to Alvaro. He's the man, but he was an originator on the Brewers as well. So I remember I played with the Brewers for a few years, and that's how I got into the league. I believe my older brother just kind of, hey man, let's get into it. I know my older brother played a little college ball himself, and at that point I was just like, hey man, why not? Just why not go in and try to play? And like I said, it's just crazy how this league grew. Like there was more teams, just more teams, and now to see, we're ran like independently basically, and there's 20. What was there? 24
24 teams, yeah.
And now they're expecting more to come. So it's crazy to see the development and the progress that this league has grown into. It's just amazing. But don't mean to get off topic, but yeah, back to that. That's how I got onto the Brewers in the league. And I was on the Brewers, I believe, for about 2 to 3 years. And then I joined the Rays. That was a team ran, I believe, by Danny Cantanella, which is on the Hitman now.
Okay.
He's on the Hitman. And we had, I think, one season. It was kind of just like, hey, let's test the waters. Let's see what we could do. And I think we lost the game to go to the playoffs. And then, from there, just the league started growing more. So I just said, hey, you know what? Why not try to run my own team? I said, I've played on 2 teams already, and, I did pretty good. I said, why not? So, I talked to my 2 brothers, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about running my own team. And they're like, oh, for real? Well, hey, man, we're 100% with that. So I had a couple buddies, that played baseball. And I said, hey, man, let's do this. Let's get it together. And just came up with the random name, and I named it Chicago Reds.
Chicago Reds, okay.
Yes, and it's a bar now, which is called Carlito's Way. Shout out to Carlos. It used to be called Kelly's, and it was a good friend of mine, Gary Burge. I remember he sponsored us the first year. He got us our jerseys, which was great. We had a good relationship, and we were some scrappers. We hung in there. We did our thing. We did what we could do. And I believe the Chicago Reds, we had that team for about 3 years. And, you're going to get your frustrations at time. So I was just, at the time, I was just like, man, the 1 year was kind of rough. I was like, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of the chaos. People are coming and going. And I just said, you know what? I did a complete 360. And I said, I'm making the Blue Jays.
Okay.
I went from Chicago Reds to the Blue Jays, and it's been going great ever since, man. Honestly, for those who know me, I mean, I'm getting better and better every year. Like I say, nobody's perfect. Taking on a manager position, it's a lot. You got to deal with a lot. You have to deal with, lineups. You have to deal with money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with, where are we getting the uniforms from? You have to worry about if you have sponsors. Hey, how many guys am I going to have to show up to, get a beer, or, hey, go buy this at a store, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot of stuff to take on when you're a manager, yet alone trying to run anywhere from 12 to 25 guys.
Yeah.
And, when money comes in hand, and, not everybody is living luxurious and has, stuff that people, don't have. So, you got to deal with a lot being a manager. And I believe now, going into from this season, I believe the Blue Jays have been going for, I want to say 5 years now. And the last 3 years we've made playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys were a strong team.
Yeah,
this year and the playoffs.
Yeah,
So.
This last year I believe we made it past the first round. We made it into the second round. We got knocked out. This year, I think we played. It was just a lose. You lose and that's it. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay with that. I was all right with the turnout. But it's fun, man. It's fun. You have to get out there, because as we get older, some of us have wives, a lot of us have kids. So we take that time away from our families. You know, not all wives are into baseball. Not all wives. Me, I'm a father of 5. By the way, shout out to my kids and my wife. Love you guys. Not every wife is into baseball. They try to support us the best they can, but hey, it's just the nature. You know, sometimes I don't want to go watch you play baseball. I'm gonna stay here. So you know, we take time away from our kids and our families. You know, to go out there and play baseball. So it's like, let's make the best of it, but let's have fun. It's not that serious. You know, just go out there and do your thing and just make the best of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got Bobby in the chat, and you know, he says I played with the Reds. You know, I asked him last week, you know, what teams he played on, and he didn't mention the Reds until right now.
Who is that?
Yeah, I mean Eddie talking about, he's like, I play with the Reds. And
Come on, Eddie.
He didn't mention that last week. Now he's mentioning it now in the chat at that.
Come on, Eddie. You can't forget about the Reds, Papa.
He forgot where, you know, where he started off at.
Hey man, Eddie, never forget where you come from, man. You know, Benny called you out on that. He got a little upset that you forgot about the Chicago Reds, man. Shout out to Richie too. Richie played on the Chicago Reds too, man. So we definitely got some history together, me and those guys. And I love all my guys on my team though, man. We've grown to become, you know, somewhat of a family. You know, some guys, you know, they build bonds with each other. And where it comes to like, hey man, do your kids want to hang out with my kids, or you want to go out to eat? You want to come over to my house? Some guys are, hey, all right, man, I'll see you next week type of people. But you know, it's awesome when you get to make friends.
Yeah.
You know, and hey, when we cross that line, it's my team versus your team. We could be friendly, we could talk, or it's like, hey, we'll go back to being friends after the game, but let's compete with each other. You know, it's awesome though how it goes. So, I mean, you have to look at it from both sides of the line. You know, it's like, it's just baseball. Like I said, it's not that serious. Let's just have some fun. Yeah. Let's bring fun back into it, because I don't think there's any major leaguers out here in Blue Island that are, I'm not going to say nobody's getting paid, but you know, nobody's really getting paid top dollar out here to play, and it's not that serious.
There's no, I don't, at least maybe low key, maybe there's some millionaires in the league.
Hey, and then again, we never know. Maybe we never know. I know I'm not. So yeah.
But yeah, no. So I got to see you. So I met you last year.
Yeah.
I met you last year. Trying to think. Did I actually? I don't think I actually met you until we went to Arizona.
Yeah, man.
Right, because I think I saw you at a game. I saw the Blue Jays. I should say I saw the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
At a game, but I think at that point I hadn't actually met and talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, last year you took a trip to Arizona. Was that your first year going down there?
That was my first year going out there, man. Yes, that was my first year going out there. Andre, you know, asked me if I would like to join them and participate, and I said, heck yeah, man. You know, I don't travel much, so, you know, so I think Arizona was probably like my third plane ride out of my 32 years I have on this life. God, that I have plenty more left. I think I was only like my third plane trip that I was going on, but yeah, it was cool, man. And yeah, that's definitely where I know we chopped it up, and we kind of got cool. I remember I brought my clippers out there because I'm a barber. A couple guys were like, hey, bring your clippers out there, man. I want to get cleaned up while I'm out there. And I was just like, why, man? We're just going to be in 100-degree weather, sweating our asses off. So
you got to look good while you're playing.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. And I remember I gave you a quick cleanup.
Yep.
And, you know, we clicked up. I remember we were playing pool, and I was just like, damn, man, this guy's a cool dude, man. Can I ask you something?
What's up?
How did you get brought to around the Blue Island League? I always wondered that. I don't think I ever had the chance to ask you that.
Okay, so how did I come around Blue Island? So going back to last year, right? I think it might have been like week 1, week 2 for you guys. Honestly, I was trying to get out of my house.
Okay.
On Sundays. Sundays for me is a day that's like there's nothing really much for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of spending it at home, in bed, laying down, and you know, whenever you're just kind of stuck in one place, and you kind of get in your head, and a lot of bad things can happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
right?
know where he's coming from on that.
So you get in your head, and I was like, no, I gotta get out of here. Only you as a person know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like, I knew that the thing for me was for me to get out.
Right.
But I'm like, what do I do? And
Mm-hmm.
I love photography. I've been doing photography now for, let's see, probably since 2014, so 10 years. Been doing photography.
Wow, it's a long time, man. It's a long
Sports
time.
photography was one thing I had not done,
Mm-hmm.
and I reached out to one of my friends, Jeff Pinturin. He used to play. He used to run and manage the Windy City Stars.
Okay.
I think they play in Burbank right now.
Courtney's on that team, isn't he?
Yes,
Okay.
but that team used to be here in Blue Island.
Oh wow.
Back in, I guess, in the whatever the old Blue Island League was.
Okay, I got you.
And he's like, Edgar, he's like, go down to Blue Island. You're just down the street from it. Go down there. You're gonna catch some good games there. So I showed up one day, and I specifically remember the game I showed up. The Pirates were playing against. Rodeo or Rodeo, and then the game after that was Orioles versus San Jose. Showed up with the camera and just kind of started taking pictures here and there. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Just took some pictures, walked away. Met a couple of people, and that was it. And then I just told myself in my head, you know what? No matter what I'm doing, unless it involves my kids, I'm gonna be there at a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of started showing up week after week. Ended up linking up and hooking up with my boy Alex and with the Orioles.
Okay.
Something about that team just kind of clicked with me last year.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know if it was just their welcoming thing where like everybody was just cutting it up, and I just felt kind of welcome to it.
Okay.
And I followed them, and that's kind of how I got into the league. From there, kind of moved over this year over to the Nats. Did the whole year with the Nats essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I did bounce around to go take photos for other teams. So shameless plug, if you ever want to, if you want your game shot, reach out to me. I'll send you a quote. You can bring me out there. Honestly, it's not as expensive as you think.
It's really not, man. You get a lot. You get a lot. To me, like as another professional going to, obviously you're another professional because you're in a profession. There's no X amount of dollars you could put on something when it's coming from somebody that's so passionate about it. They're not just doing it, for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, yes. I mean, they say the money makes the world go around. Everyone's going to need money. You got to pay bills, mortgages, rents, whatever, car notes, whatever it be. But it's different when somebody's doing it with passion and love and dedication. And that's one thing I could say he really does with his photos. I love Edgar. He's a very genuine guy, and I'm glad I got to meet this guy. But definitely, if you need work done by him for anything, I mean, definitely contact him because he's the man. He is the man.
Thank you. So, and just to touch on that, some of you guys, when you guys see me out on the fields, just note that sometimes I'm not being paid to be out there,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's some of the, going back where like this is just a game and we have lives outside of the game.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand that I also have a life outside of Blue Island.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like I got kids,
Mm-hmm.
Who need my attention, who need to be fed, who need to be, they're kids, right? So sometimes I think I felt that some teams think that that there's some bias in how who's getting marketed. Just believe me, there's no bias. Honestly, like I try to get as much as everybody I can. As you saw, some games I actually showed up this year, simply just to take photos of them.
Yeah.
Because I know that they unfortunately didn't hire me, but I knew that I wanted to market them.
Yeah, man.
And I wanted to get their face on a poster, given they made the playoffs.
That's
right?
awesome. That's an awesome thing.
So if you guys who are watching, teams who maybe come back and watch this in the future, I don't feel like I'm being biased or that you're not. Honestly, if I'm there present, I'm gonna try to get your game as far as like on a live, where it's just putting you up on a live stream on the page.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can't get you, I can't get you. I'm not here to get rich, but understand that there's kids that I have to feed to
Right.
and I have to go home to.
Yeah.
So I just can't be there unless you're hiring me. Then I can say that, hey, it's a
Yeah.
job. I
Yeah.
need to be there.
Yeah.
My kids understand that. Otherwise, they're like, hey, Dad, come home. Let's go here. We want to go do this. So don't get fooled by I know there's some bad apples out there. You just want to start some trouble.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled when you're hearing it from me. There's no team. Even if I play on a team, if I'm part of that team, yeah, they might get a little bit more photos on their end, and more videos. But just know that usually on the page itself, I'm pretty even across the board.
No, for sure.
I'll try to get everybody in as much as I can. But if I can't get you in, I'm sorry. But I'm always on the lookout to try to get you in for the next one. But yeah, that's kind of how I came across the league, and honestly, I've enjoyed myself a lot. Being part of the league, honestly, got me to go last year to Arizona. I never done that. I never thought that could be a thing until last year. And again, shout out to Harvey and the Nads for taking me down there last year and this year, for that matter. Because last year was a great time. I think last year we made a pretty good run with the squad we had.
We did
to in the bracket, and which kind of disappointed me this year, honestly, when we went down there. That we didn't even make bracket play. You were on the team. You played on the team. You played on both teams. For those who don't know or haven't heard, like when I talked to Eddie last week, like that. We did not make it we didn't make it to bracket play, this year in Arizona. And I'm still trying to figure out like what could have been done better. What do you think could have changed, or what changed from last year to this year?
So if you ask me, I mean, I don't beat around the bush. I'll get straight to the point. To me, between last year and this year, I just think there was more, I'm not going to say like randoms, but I kind of mean like random people that kind of just got thrown together. And, you have to have chemistry built in some type of way, whether it's, hey, I played 2 games with this guy, or I played 3 games with this guy. I know the type of mood he can get in. I know how to try to calm him down. I know how to kind of keep him focused.
Yeah.
And I believe there was just kind of a little commotions that were brought from over here over there, and I kind of think that had a little bit to do with it. But I mean, it wasn't bad coaching or anything. I just think that that team that we brought out there this year they were like, on paper it looked like phenomenal. We were like, holy crap, like these guys are dogs. But I really believe in chemistry,
Yes.
If you have that chemistry with each other, like I say, things are going to go really smooth, and you're going to be able to know how to chant that person on and just pick that person up. So I believe that had kind of a part in it, if you ask me, as a player, and also as a coach. I'm a coach and a manager. So I think kind of that was it. And, we had our chances out there, I believe. We left bases loaded, I believe, a few times in some games. And I mean, like I say, it's baseball. It's going to happen. We just didn't answer the way that we thought we were going to. And, it's different. Those games out there were different to me from out here. It's just like, it's different things that you got to deal with. The heat, the dryness, just the environment.
The ball just moves different.
It does.
Period.
And a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, what the hell are these guys talking about? If you haven't played baseball in another state, especially a hot one, a dry one, you're not going to know what we're talking about, right? But like, you see, he knows, because I know. And I was saying the same thing last year. I was like, man, it was different playing out there. Like, it was fun, yes, but man, and we had it good this year. This year was not that hot.
No,
if you remember,
we were blessed.
If you remember the year before, like it was coolers on coolers. And I remember Richie and Eddie were like, we got to go to Walmart. We got to go buy 48 coconut waters, and you guys better not drink like that. And we got to stay hydrated. And I thought like, all right, guys, like relax. And then it's like, when I got out there, I was like, holy holy crap, like these guys weren't lying,
Yeah.
because I believe Eddie and Richie, I think this was probably maybe like their 5th year going out there,
Yeah.
or 4th year or something like that. They've been going out there, so they had a little bit more taste than us. You know, last year I was just like a new kid walking in class getting introduced, like, hey, you know, and I knew more guys from last year. This year, I didn't really know a lot of the guys, but it's cool though, man, because you know, you get to meet new people and you get to bond with them, and it's like, hey, I remember seeing you in Blue Island when we played against you. You know, I kind of thought you were a dickhead, man, but like, dude, you're a pretty cool, awesome guy, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like that also, you know, like going out to Arizona or whatever, being on a team that you never thought or saw yourself playing on, and you get to meet individuals that are like really cool. Like, me and Matt O'Malley, like, man, that dude's a dog out here, you know, shout out to Matt. And me and him, man, we had some really good conversations out there. Like, he's a really another great, genuine guy. Like, our whole house, we were like really close, and it was just really cool, man. It's a great experience, and it's something that I could talk about if I don't get dementia for the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah.
And I could just be like, man, yeah, I went to Arizona and I played baseball, and it was awesome. One thing I must say is, I want to try Florida, man. I know Armando
Yeah,
Aguilar
they're
from the
down there
Giants.
right now.
They're out there, Hector Ruiz and them, and man, it looks nice too, man. Those stadiums that they're playing in and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, maybe next year, I mean, we could try to make something happen and maybe try to go down to Florida, maybe switch things up a little
Yeah.
bit, you know?
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
I'm definitely interested in that. It looks cool down there as well.
that the experience of going down there is hands down. I'm never gonna dissuade anyone. So some people think that, you know, that because we lost this year and because we got swept that we wouldn't go back.
No,
I think most of us can say we would go back.
yeah, for sure,
Like,
absolutely.
you know, in what circumstances we would go back, and like, you know, that's to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
But hands down, to anyone who's never done it, fucking do it.
Yeah,
If
do
that
it.
opportunity is there,
Yeah.
you take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Why? Because your mind changes so much as to the level of competition. I don't care if you play here at an MSL, Burbank, you know, Tinley, Lakefront, Blue Island. When you go down there, it's a whole different level of
It is.
gameplay.
It is.
And I know, Coach Dre said it. He said it himself. He's like, some of those guys down there, they're playing year round.
Yeah, they are.
We play 6-7 months out of the
Yeah.
year at most. Those guys are nonstop playing,
Yeah.
you know, and so they're always gonna. Can't say they're gonna have the edge on us,
Mm-hmm.
but they do.
Yeah.
They do, and it's their home turf.
Yeah.
But it's an experience when you come back. I think you can come back a better player
Yeah.
overall, both mentally, and just on the game side of things. If you do that, but I think I do agree with you. I think part of the reason that maybe that we did bad is because there were a lot of randoms.
Mm-hmm.
The chemistry part of it, I think if you build a team and you play here for say all year,
Yeah,
and then you take that same team, which is hard to do because people have lives again,
exactly.
take it down there, I think you would probably have better success.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know your guys exactly.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
exactly.
sure that if you take your Blue Jays team you have here and you take it down there, you would do good.
Yeah.
Why? Because you played with them for the last, what'd you say, 2-3 years, 4 years, right?
Yeah, I had the Blue Jays. This was my 5th year.
5th year.
Yeah.
So 5 years, even if you've changed a piece here and there, it's still at the core. It's your core players.
Yeah.
Take those guys down there.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how great they are. At the end of the day, if you guys can play team ball, you guys can make things happen, right?
And sometimes it's things don't always go in our favor. So it takes a lot to get a team together, and you got to be constantly contacting an individual that is a dog, and they want to go down there, but hey, like I say, funds might be there. People don't always get to take off work.
Yep.
So, it's kind of like nerve-wracking when you're out there trying to scrounge up all these different guys. So I guess it's in some type of format, it's going to be like that sometimes, because it's like, hey, he says he can't come, but this guy could come.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know this guy, but he said he can come. So that's another body, that's another player, and he could potentially bring something great to the table. But it's like when we get down there you don't know what's going to get brought to the table.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it's a total different ball game. And I remember though, like I like asking the teams down there. You know, some teams where I think were from California.
Yep.
I think the one team that we played the first game, I think they were from Colorado. You know, and like you said, I know they got the advantage on us because some of those guys are used to seeing like nice hot weather all year round.
Yep.
And over here, it's like it's bipolar, man. It's raining, you know, sunny, snowing, hail, all types of crap. So
all 4 seasons in one day.
it is.
It's getting there. It's getting there right now.
It is.
But no, yeah. So now during fall ball, you played with the D-backs.
Yes.
Now I know Eddie mentioned last week that the D-backs will be a team next year.
Yeah.
In the main league.
Mm-hmm.
You played in the D-backs. What is your plans? Do you have any plans thus far? Like, are you gonna continue with the D-backs? Are you gonna continue with the Blue Jays? What's going on in your head at the moment?
So, honestly, I love managing. You know, I love coaching, but you know, there comes a point in our lives where it's just like you ask yourself, do I want to do this anymore? Or do I, because, you know, we can't stay young forever, for one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, do I want to do this for, you know, the remaining years that my body's still allowing me to play? You know, I mean, I'm a bigger guy. So, you know, I get gassed out running down to first base, right? It's all right, though. If I catch one of them baseballs, which I make contact for a big guy, I'm a decent ball player for only being in the game for not even 10 years. Imagine if I would have went to college and high school. But hey, I didn't. But back to what I was saying. I love the Blue Jays. I mean, man, those are my guys. And, you know, I do have a lot to think about, but I am not going to say that I'm going to close that chapter, you know, and there's still a lot of things that I have to think about. I have to, you know, talk about things and just, I have to make the best choice for me, you know, because at the end of the day, it's like we deal with ourselves as individuals, you know, and we have to, you know, we know what's best for us. We know what's not. And like I say, as me getting older, it's kind of like, I want to just have fun. I'm not going to play baseball for the rest of my life. You know, you only get so many years out there where, you know, you get wear and tear on your body, just like you've been working at a job for 30 years. Hey, your back's going to start giving out. It happens. You know, we're not here to be here forever. We're here to just live and try to have a good life and have a good time. But I will say, I have a lot to think about, and I am not sure what I am doing next year, but I know when I make that decision, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
I mean,
and I'll just kind of leave it as that. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. And for any Blue Jays watching this, don't feel mistreated or misguided or anything. I love all you guys, and I'm not saying that I'm closing that chapter. I just don't know what I want for myself, so I hope you guys truly, genuinely understand where I'm coming from. I don't want to go on my my messenger right now after this podcast and say, hey, they left the group. This guy left the group. This guy left the group. Because then it's like, oh, man, come on, guys. You guys didn't even hear me out, man. So to answer your question, Edgar, I'm not sure yet.
You know, I think going back to something you said, a lot of people don't ever think of themselves. We're always, I think some of us in life are programmed to always think about somebody else first.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. That's
as a parent, even more.
Yeah,
because as a parent, we're always just thinking about our kids.
Yeah, that's instant.
You know, our kids and our partner, making sure that they're taken care of. Yeah. Like I come last. My kids tell me all the time, why am I not gonna eat yet or whatever it is if I'm cooking. Like when I cook, and yes, I do cook. When I cook, I feed the kids and I wait for them to fully eat, get full, then I eat. And they're like, why? It's like, I don't know. It's an instinct for me that I always want to make sure that they're like, even if I cook more than enough. Yeah. But you never know. I got growing kids. My son's 17.
Yeah, for sure.
Like overnight, he went from never wanting to eat to all of a sudden he wants like 2 meals in one sitting. I'm like, bro, like
full course meal.
Yeah, he's like, calm down. But yeah, so it's even harder for us to, you know, start to think about ourselves and what we want.
As parents, that's just our instinct. You know, we tend to just put our kids, our family first. But then it's like, hey, I'm never gonna put me first. On me, this is just me personally. I will never put myself before my kids. You know, that's my everything. Those are my world. You know, God blessed me to able to have 5 kids and allowed me to be a father of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's points though where it's like we have to think about ourselves a little bit, because if we're not mentally, physically, like, you know, impaired for ourselves, and it's like, how can we be there for others? You get
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, it's stressful.
No, it is. I see guys, and I have guys reach out to me and talk to me, and they're like, you know, that they don't know what to do with their team or what they're on the team that they're on, and I always tell them, hey, look, if unless you're talking about like, you know, your like again your kids, your family, think about just yourself. What is best for you?
Yeah.
You know, because it's at that point it's baseball. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
It's a sport. You know, you can be competitive without it being stressful, you know, to that degree where you can't sleep at night.
Right.
So if you ever find yourself in a tough, you know, spot where you're trying to figure out what should I do, think about what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know, most guys, and maybe you can talk about it when you're done with the game. Do you continue to talk about the game, or do you just kind of go home after that game's over, go home, enjoy your time with your family?
So my wife, are you talking about like with the guys or like with the wife and kids or whatever?
I'm talking about just as a whole. Like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
We'll use last night's game. Game ended. You know, you guys lost.
So
how long do you let that carry into? Do you talk about it the first, just one more day, maybe a couple?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just in the baseball nature. There's a lot of guys out there that I think they're gonna just be like, well, for me, I say it is what it is because it really is what it is. There's no hitting a rewind button in life, right?
No.
You can't hit the rewind button and say, hey, let's redo this game. No. So there's things that you want to talk about, but I believe it's like pinpointing on, hey, what should we have done in here? Could we have did this? Could we have done that? But that's only for the fact that you use that going into what's next.
Yes.
Hey, remember what we said we could have did? Remember what we did last game? So like for me, talking about a game is just not talking about, oh, we lost. Oh, we suck. Oh, we should have did it. No, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, it exists, but it doesn't exist in the real life. It's you shoulda, woulda, coulda, but what do they say? You didn't. So I like pinpointing things and talking about the game. Maybe after the game, maybe a little bit going into the next day, but I'm not going to lie. I was one where I used to get mad and I used to get upset, and I would like go home and my wife would just be like, you look mad. You look upset. And I'm just like, yes, I am. Just give me a second. You know, let me unwind. And then I would just be like, I was like, man, I can't believe we did. And then I was just like, wait, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm letting my kids see me upset just over a baseball game. So I'm just like, it's not that serious, you know? I'm not going to let it get to me and just let it ruin the rest of my day. I mean, hey, now real quick though, the Chicago Bears, oh my gosh, years in the past on my Sundays, they would ruin my whole day. And now that I see a little uplifting, I see spirits getting uplifted, you know, Caleb Williams and all them. Hey, we're looking like we got better days coming. But I don't let baseball bother me no more. To answer your question, I do talk about it a little bit just to explain what we could have done and what we should prepare for the next game.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. I was the same way, where I used to play. I was a big gamer with video games, and when I tell you, I would get mad. When you see those people, they're talking like they just want to break. I never broke anything because, man, those controls are not cheap.
Yeah.
Computers are not cheap.
Do those bots really exist? When people say there's bots in video games?
Yeah, they do.
How do they?
It's more like a computer. It's like an algorithm that it knows where you're gonna come out. So like the controller will instantly move there. It just picks up on little things.
See, so I never understood that. My son would be like, there's bots in Fortnite when he would be playing Fortnite. There's bots, these dang bots. What the heck? And I never understood what a bot was.
And there's also people who sell accounts, so they level them up and then they sell them.
I
So
gotcha,
that's
I
about
gotcha.
the game knows no better. It's just based off how much time you're spending in the game.
See,
And that's how you level up.
you can learn something new every day. And now I know what a true definition of a bot is. Thank you.
But yeah, that used to get me so pissed, and it would ruin my days.
Yeah.
I would wake up in a bad mood, and then I was like, no, I can't do this, and I quit. It actually made me quit playing video games because it would make me mad so bad. And some of these guys that I see who are in that same position, but here in the league, in the team, in baseball, I'm like, it's only gonna hurt you in the long run. You keep with that, eventually you're gonna get sick of it, and you're not gonna want to play it, and you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier. You said that, you don't know how long you're gonna be able to play the game for, right? So I tell people, and I tell my own kids the same thing. Is like, do everything as far until you can't do it anymore, because one day you're not gonna be able to do it anymore. You're gonna wish you could still do it.
Yeah.
So like, do it now. Don't hold back. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Put your mind to it.
Exactly.
With me, like with trying baseball, I never liked it growing up. I was scared of getting hit with the ball. Watching some of the guys that became my friends here in the league just honestly just get hit, and I'm like, well, if they can get hit, I can survive a hit. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
No lie.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's no going around it. It's gonna hurt, but if it's gonna happen, and that's part of the game. That's why you play the game.
Yeah.
And you don't play to get hit, but it's part of it, and you have to take that.
It happens.
But yeah, that's kind of why I do what I do right now. When it comes to it, I'm like, I want to see it through. I want to get better. I'm a competitive person. You saw me. I got to play against you guys in fall ball twice.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That was a whole lot of fun.
It was awesome seeing you out there. I was like, man, dude, that's dope. That's dope.
I got an RBI.
There you go.
I didn't get still haven't gotten a hit where I get on base. I've been walked a few times because I can see the pitches.
Yeah.
But that was fun, dude. Like, and it just almost motivates me more and more and more, because I can see, like you said, I can see my own improvements, and I go back. I'm like, I critique myself so much, even to this setup. For those who have been watching this for the past 4 weeks, I have not had a steady setup for any of the 4 weeks. It's
always
been
thinking better and better, huh?
It's always trying to get better and better.
I know.
Until I get to that point where I'm happy with it, then you'll see consistency.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the content is still going to be consistent. Again, thank you for you being here, because honestly, you had so much knowledge to share to everyone that a lot of people don't even know. When it comes to like the ins and outs of being, what goes into a player's mind, what goes into a coach's mind, and having that experience. So like, how was your experience going down to Arizona?
Yeah.
And there's one more thing I wanted to talk about and bring on the podcast, because some people don't know this. Some people do. You mentioned it. You're a barber.
Yep.
But you're not just a barber. You own a barbershop, and I know. Do you own? How many barbershops do you own?
So at one point, I owned 2 barbershops. My first barbershop I opened up was right during COVID, 2019. Was a crappy year. A lot of stuff happened. My mother almost lost her life from COVID. Thank God she's still here with us. I was trying to figure things out. And, being a business owner, I had a lot of things I had to learn, and, I still learn as I'm going, just growing. And, so I was like, holy crap, like this is hard. Those times where I wanted to give up. So I opened up my first shop over there in Blue Island, right off of Old Western, where all the bars are at and stuff.
Yeah, around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner. I had that place for about 3 years, and it was doing really great. I decided, hey, I'm doing so great, and I'm kind of good at this, I'm good at running the business, I could do it, which I never thought I was going to be able to, because, sometimes you doubt yourself, but then you have to do that to prove yourself that you could do a lot of things. So I actually came across this spot over there in Tinley Park, over there on 167th and Oak Park Avenue. It used to be a salon. I met the owner, which was the owner of the whole lot, and they owned a really nice, good Italian style store called Rubino's.
Okay.
So I met with him, and he's like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So I went in there. I worked my magic, got my guys in there, and the barbershop came out beautiful. Came out beautiful, and now it's like you kind of think Tinley Park, Orland Park, all those spots where like there's a lot of businesses
Mm-hmm.
and more population, obviously, than small town like Blue Island. So you think it's gonna do great. Well, about 6 months into it, I started realizing like, man, I'm coming out of pocket on stuff, and I got some barbers here, but I'm just like, I did all the advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
I even like did with the where you put things. There was like a third party company where the post office hires for you or whatever, and you
Okay.
put the stuff in the mailboxes. I did everything, and for some reason, I just couldn't get nobody through the door. I had my own people coming to me, obviously, but for me, it's like there's never enough. I
Yeah.
always want to try to do more. So a year came by, and I was just like, holy crap, like I'm kind of getting myself in a hole, and I'm just like, I got to get myself out. So I met a friend through a mutual friend, and at the time I think his daughter graduated cosmetology school, and he's like, man, you got a really nice spot, and I'm just like, do you want to buy it? And I just straight up told him just like that. I'm like, hey man, do you want to buy it? And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, really? I told him though about it because I invested a lot of money into this place. I had to get like nice channel lock sign out in front of the business. I had to get the slop signs out there. It was like way more of an, I'm not going to say an upgrade, but it was just a lot more in the process that I had to do because obviously every city is different
Yeah.
with like the rules and regulations.
Yes.
But I will say though that Tinley Park was really smooth. So after a year, sadly, I ended up having to sell it. I went back to my original barbershop, worked out of there. I told the guys that were working for me at Tinley Park, I only have so much space over here. Do you guys mind going back to your house to cut for a little while? I'm in the process of getting this other building, which is my buddy Rich, his uncle, had a big building right here in the heart of Blue Island. And I finally got to meet him. Man, he reminded me of so much of my grandpa, rest in heaven. Me and him just clicked together. Like we've known each other for so long, and we worked out a contract, and it needed a lot of work, and we got it done though. I opened up in January, and I left my original spot, which my buddy's mother took over, and it's now a salon, I believe. And now I'm just running I just run and own one big barbershop, man. It's beautiful. It's over 2,000 square feet. I have 10 barbers there working for me. It's located at 13124 Southwestern Avenue. It's called New Styles. And it's a beautiful spot. If you haven't came and checked it out, me myself, I've been doing it for whew, I've been doing hair, man, for about 16 years. I've been doing it for a long time. So I know what I'm doing, or else I wouldn't, be where I'm at, obviously. And my barbers are great as well. So for those who don't know, they do call me Bobby, but Bobby the Barber. That's what I'm known as. Bobby the Barber slash father slash husband slash I make a little music slash baseball coach slash mentor. Call me a little bit of everything, but that's by the good God's grace that I'm allowed to say I could do all those things. Thanks.
And it's crazy how things work and how, you know, how God can put things in your life
Absolutely.
to meet for you to meet people.
Yeah.
Because I know I was having a conversation with Chris at a baseball game down in at the Burbank League,
Mm-hmm.
and he mentioned to me, I was like, dude, how'd you get into baseball? And he's like, you know what? It's like I played baseball growing up, and then I kind of stopped, and I didn't pick it. I didn't start playing until I met Bobby.
Yeah.
Say, ask Bobby. Next time you talk to Bobby, ask Bobby how I met him, how I got in, how I started playing baseball.
Okay. So I worked at numerous shops before, until I was finally able to open my own. I was working at a official cuts location located on 115th and Pulaski. And one of my buddies, Los, he's a great barber. I would see Chris come in like every week, and I'm just like, hey, what's up, bro? You know, he was a cool individual. I'd always say, hey, what's up? You know, 'cause you want to be friendly to everybody in the barbershop. You never know when you might have to cut their hair because somebody might call in sick. So you want to build relationships with everybody. It
Absolutely.
makes the world go around easier, right? So he comes in one day and he overhears me talking to my barber, Los. And I'm just like telling him about the baseball and stuff like that. And later on, probably about 2 hours later, my guy Los is like, hey man, you know my client Chris, the one with the long hair, he overheard you talking about baseball, man, and he wants to know like more information. And I'm just like, well, give him my number. And Chris called me like probably or texted me within like an hour, and he's just like, hey bro, I used to play baseball at Mount Greenwood and you know, et cetera, et cetera. I want to get back into it. And then me and Chris just like, I invited him out to like a winter try, not a winter tryout. I take that back because I don't really have tryouts. I mean, I could, if you're a baller, you're a baller. If not, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. He came out and, man, dude, he jumped right back into it. Like, you know, he never left. And, man, he's been with me on the Blue Jays, you know, ever since he got back into it, man. So it's like, it's yeah, that's crazy how that happened. That's how that happened.
Yep.
Through a talk through the barbershop he overheard.
Yes.
And, you know, he said, hey, I want to get back into it. And, man, dude, he's been rocking and rolling, man. Chris is a great individual and a good ball player, man. He's got a really good heart, man. He's a cool dude.
He is a really cool dude. I met him again also, you know, in Arizona. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it goes back to like it's you do those things for the experience that comes with it. And, you know, meeting, like I met him last year too. And I also became really good friends.
Yeah.
Everyone who was there last year, I became really, really cool with.
Dude, last year was just so cool, man.
Yeah.
It was cooler than this year.
Oh, absolutely. I
don't know why,
like,
man.
nothing to say, like, I don't want to like talk down on this year's trip, but like, when I tell you last year was fun, like no other, like from the ball games to like after the ball games. Like, I mean, that was, to me, it was like everything I expected of it.
It was really fun,
you know,
it
and
was really cool.
So fun. But I don't want to ignore the comments. We've been, you know, talking for over an hour, no, about an hour now, and a lot of comments.
What do we got?
Let's see what we have. Let's see if I can find all the comments because it's just been going crazy. Let's see, where do we go? Where do I even start? We got Courtney Wiggins says first year was with the Reds when he first started with the team. This just keeps going. Let's see.
Yeah, shout out to Courtney. Courtney was a Red too, man. He was a
Red too.
Yeah, he was an originator, man.
Interesting.
I couldn't name everybody. I'm sorry, but yes, Courtney did rock out with your boy, man. And Courtney, that's my dog, man. Salute, brother. Salute.
And then we have, looks like we have Justin Cortez, Mister. Just Eddie Araujo. Hey, that team was pretty gas. I'm assuming he's talking about the Reds.
Yep. Justin, I remember Justin. He was a Red too. That dude was a dog. I believe we're talking about the same Justin, I believe he moved to Arizona. If not Arizona, some other state like that. But man, I remember that guy. He was a baller too, man. He was a dog.
Then we have Rich saying, he's like, I would have got that W that year in a series at the end, but no one showed up last game. What is he talking about? Do you know?
Richie, you always got to bring this up, dude. I remember it, okay? It's in the back of my head forever, bro. Just because you refresh it to me every 6 damn months. Nobody wanted to show up. Like I say, we had rough games as the Reds, you know, and that comes along as like I say, learning each other's chemistry, learning each other's tempers, just learning everything about the individual. It was kind of bumpy, and man, we had exactly, 9 guys show up to a playoff game versus the Brewers. And I remember that day, it was so damn hot at Hart Park, and Richie was pitching, and I believe Richie pitched like the whole game, and everybody had to stay in the game because we had 9 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was dead. Like, if I could pull up that picture, which I would have to look for it, we took an after picture, and everyone obviously, you know, you want to throw up their number one. Because, you know, I'm number one, dude. Like, I don't care if they won, whatever. Everyone's face is just beat red in that photo. Everyone looks so beat. And I remember, though, Richie, like, always brings it up. He's like, dude, remember when I had to pitch all 9 innings when nobody wanted to show up and we lost to the Brewers in the playoffs? I'm not gonna lie though, man. We didn't lose by much though.
You're talking about you guys got blown out.
No, Richie, we did not get blown
This is
out.
Courtney. Courtney's like, hell yeah, I was pissed. We got slaughtered real quick.
Guys, are you serious? I don't think we got slaughtered. I do not think we got slaughtered, man.
Rich is like, trust me, I remember.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we got slaughtered. Whatever. It is what it is, man. But hey, Rich, thanks for pitching those 9 innings, man. Did a hell of a job, bud.
And then Alex from the Orioles says chemistry is a big thing, Bobby, for sure. So he's just agreeing to our talk about chemistry. Let's see, you got Rich and Courtney having a whole conversation here. Eddie says we plan Arizona months ahead for our house, and guys, it's true. Who planned that house?
So remember how I told you it's kind of like sometimes you're 50-50. Somebody asks you, hey man, you want to go here? Well, my answer wants to say, hell yeah. But, you know, I have a wife, I have 5 kids, I have a business. So I was on the fence, and I didn't decide to go until like a week before we were about to leave. I hit up Andre and I said, Andre, I'm going to go. And he's like, oh, cool, man, for sure. Then let's get it, you know? So I remember the year before that, though, yes, we did plan it out probably about a month in advance, maybe even a month and a half. I don't know about 2 months. Eddie, shut up. You know, we all, hey man, these guys are going to stay in this house. It's going to be this amount of dollars. Let's pitch in. You know, obviously we got to book the house. We don't want to go out there and be, hey, where are we staying at? So yes, you know, we did pre-plan last year. This year, these guys probably did it, but you know, thank God they booked a big enough house and I got a room that was there. And yeah, like I said, I didn't make my decision though till like last minute. So that's how that went. But usually, yeah, man, I mean, these guys, Richie, he's really good at that stuff, man. One thing I could say about him, he's a well-organized guy.
So for anyone who's heard our little spiel here about Arizona, Eddie says here that next year that he's planning on doing both. So, you know, put it this way, if you want to partake in that trip, reach out to Eddie or Rich. You could probably even reach out to Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he'll guide you in the right direction, who you need to talk to. But yeah, I mean, I don't foresee that stopping anytime soon. So great time. You'll ball yourself out. So yeah, just reach out to one of them. We got J.R. Ruiz from the Royals. For those who don't know, there's a benefit for him in December. Just check the timeline in the Blue Island page. Check it out. The invitation's on there. Come out and support him. For those who don't know, he is dealing with a cancer, stage 3. I believe it's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So you know, they're doing a benefit for him to try to raise some funds. Come out, you know, join us. I believe it's wear a green. I think it's a neon green color shirt, or your favorite baseball jersey.
Yep. It's in Canaryville, I believe. Mm-hmm. Shout out to J.R. Ruiz, man. That dude is a really great guy, man. I met him a couple years ago too. He was actually watching, I think, a scrimmage game, and then we kind of exchanged numbers. And he's like, "Hey, you want to scrimmage my team?" And hey, JR, remember when we were driving around? Everybody, we were like 20 cars deep, just bumper to bumper, trying to find a field that we could play at because every field was either taken or like shitty from the rain. Wow. I know you remember that. And then we kind of just got to a field, I think, in your neighborhood, and we were just like, "Yeah, man, we'll just plan it for some other day." But thanks again, man, for coming out yesterday as well. And like I say, man, thoughts and prayers, brother. You're a warrior, man. You got this, and you definitely got support, and I will be at that benefit for you, brother. Okay?
Yeah. Likewise here, I will be there. So, you know, make sure you go on and get all the information for those watching. Come on, supporting. That's one of our own here. And I like to say that we like to take care of our own.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Come on out.
We all got to be here for one another, man, especially through those tough times because, hey, you never know what can get thrown at you, man. Mm-hmm. You never know what you can get thrown at you.
We have somebody Lopez FOK says hola Bobby.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
And then Brandon Horbach.
Yep.
That's my boy.
Hey, Brandon, that's he actually works for me. He cleans the barbershop and stuff for me. He's a great kid, man. What's up, Brando?
We got Rocio. Says it used to be horrible. It's gotten better for sure.
That's my wife.
so she would know your temper.
Sorry.
Then we have Jason Hernandez says he sees us. So shout out to Jason.
Shout out to my boy Jason, man. He actually has a barbershop too in Blue Island. They're at the studio. They just moved new locations. Don't have the exact address. And hey, man, I'm sorry about your dog, man. I heard about your dog. Hopefully somebody returns that dog. His dog slipped out because shit does happen. And he got some footage of somebody getting out the vehicle, man, and taking his dog.
Wait, is that that's the one that just got the French Bulldog?
Yeah,
yes, I just saw that get shared today.
Little meatball, man. Hopefully, they come forward, brother. That's tough, but shout out to Jason, man.
Yeah, so that sucks. Hopefully anybody watching this, I know the link is out there.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to just drop it in the chat here, people can kind of click on it so they can look it, so they know how the dog looks. Hopefully you can get your dog back because that's gonna, my kids would probably come after me. Like, Dad, you better go find the dog.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And then it says Jettis Chameleons from the South Side. It says next year, Bobby cutting my hair in the dugout for sure. I thought about doing some type of video when we were down there where you were for you cutting somebody's hair in the dugout.
Yeah.
But I mean we were so focused in the game, nobody trying to be like cutting a hair there. Yeah. But it would be cool, right?
We'll make it happen. We can make it happen, man. I used to cut on buckets, man, and put garbage bags around people's necks, backyards, basements, all types of stuff. So. Baseball dugout, no problem, man. That's why they got cordless clippers now.
Then we got Mike Fuentes. He says, "Let me know about AZ." So you never know. He's for those who've seen, he's a great hitter. So Mike just hit up either Rich, Eddie, or Bobby, and then they can get you squared away about at least getting your information down for next year. I mean,
yeah, man.
We'll see how that works out.
Definitely see where that goes.
Then we got Damien says the big dog's in the building. Damien Cabral.
That's my son. What's up, son? How you doing?
And then we got JC. JC saying my big boy, Big Bobby. 100%. So shout out to JC.
Salute, JC.
He'll be coming. I don't want to ruin it, but he will be coming on the podcast very, very soon.
What'd he say? What'd he comment? I need to spice it up with a little Lori sauce.
Yeah.
What'd he say? That's my boy. Hey, man, bro. How do you feel, man, after taking that fastball to your neck last week, man? My guy, for those who JC, he's a good dude. He was umpiring and the team Michoacan that won the Fall Classic in Blue Island this past week, they had a guy throwing probably about consistently like 85, and he had 2 strikes. There was 2 outs, and this guy gave, I call it the Mike Fuentes, like all you got, and just to hit my boy, just to hit the umpire. Didn't even get the strike 3 to end the game. People already started running from the dugout. It was kind of funny. But hey, that dude's a dog, but my guy took that hit, man, and got back up on his feet. How are you feeling, brother? I hope you're all good because that shit looked deadly.
He threw everything he had into that pitch.
Man, I'm telling you. But, oh my God. I was just like, I had to run around for you, my boy. I had my sandals on. I said, JC, holy crap. And you were just laid out, bro, but you took your time to get up, man. You took that like a champ, but I know you got something there, my boy. Oh my God, that was lethal.
It's the Lori seasoning,
Yeah, man, that's that Lori's.
But just to touch a little bit on that, and I knew that I kind of in my head, I don't know if it was in your head, but I was like, there's no after that incident. He ended up walking.
I think like
2-3 guys before the game was ended.
Yeah. That will shake you up.
And I was like, "There's no way." Yeah. If you just see, if you like, it was unintentional. Yeah. That wasn't like, "Oh, I want to hit him," and it just happened. And just the way it happened, it shook him up. You could tell, in his demeanor, that he was like shooken up, and it took him a little bit just to kind of wrap it up and end the game.
Yeah, because he had 2 outs already, didn't he?
Yeah. He literally just needed 1 strike. Game over. Yeah. And then just to go from there to walking 2 dudes, I think it was, before ending it. I mean, there's you have to be there to see how it happened, and
you guys
it's scary. It's not the first time we've seen stuff like that happen. It's part of the game. Kind of learn it, but you don't want it to happen. But when it happens, it shakes teams up.
I remember when I was when they were live streaming the game. I think it was in the beginning of this season, and I remember Big Mike, man, he got hit in the face.
Yeah,
I think they were playing the Venados, and I'm watching him up to bat, and I just see him like duck, and I'm just like, holy crap, he got hit in the face, and he was down for a little bit. But that dude's a champ because he ended up, I think they had a doubleheader.
I think he hit a home run off of that after that too.
Yeah, I think so, man. So hey, that gave you some more power, I guess, Mike. Well, you took that like a champ, man. But like, yeah, you say anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. My sweet spot where I always get hit is like right underneath the armpit. And oh my gosh, it just for weeks, it just so tender. I remember there was one game and I got hit like I think literally all my 3 at bats, and 2 times were right there. And then I was playing in the Tinley Park League, and some dude was throwing pretty hard, hit me there again. I had to come out the game. I just couldn't handle it no more. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but I can't do it no more.
Yeah. So Robert Jones says Jason posted on Facebook that Meatball was found.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
If that's true, awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks, Rob. Rob, you know who Rob Jones is? He's one of the security guards at Blue Island that opens the gates up for us.
Okay,
and stuff
I know
like
who.
that.
Now I know who you're talking about.
He's a good dude. That's my guy, Rob.
JC said he's good. He said that he appreciates. He's like no bruising or anything. So to answer Dan's question, so when that pitch that we thought it hit him like in the throat, but it actually hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah,
right?
like kind of like right up over here, like right in front of your shoulder blade. Kind of, I think, in that area.
But from the look of it, it didn't look that that's where it hit him.
No,
we didn't know that until after the fact. But yeah, and then it says Brandon says good that they found. I think it's either that they found a dog or that he's good.
That's good. Hopefully you found the dog, man.
And then Eddie says who's winning the World Series? I got the Dodgers. Dodgers in 6.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a showdown. It's gonna be a showdown. I don't know. I don't know, man. I see the series getting split, and I think it's gonna go Game 7.
Game 7. Who's?
Oh my god! I think it's just gonna come down to
You got to pick a team.
I'm going Yankees.
Yankees.
Even though I'm not the biggest fan, and I don't really like the Bronx. I'm gonna go Yankees, man. I'm gonna go Yankees. Sorry, Ohtani.
You got somebody saying Robert says Dodgers in 6.
Okay. Yeah, Dodgers are a favorite.
Brandon says Yankees all day. Julio Hernandez says Yankees all day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
What's up, Julio?
definitely some Yankee fans in here. So before we wrap everything up, and then I talk a little bit about something coming soon, I'd like to open up the mic over to you. We talked a lot about a lot of things, but is there anything that you want to share, that you want to talk about, or you want to mention to the viewers right now?
First and foremost, I want to say thanks again for you having me on here. It's an honor. I know we talked about this podcast last year, and I remember you said you kind of fell through. So I just want to wish you and give you well wishes, and I hope this goes far because it's a great thing that you're doing, man. People are just think they're getting on here and it's just about like baseball and stuff like that, but you say it's kind of like open. You could talk about whatever you want. So, like I always like telling people, stay positive. Life is going to throw things at you and when you least expect it. So, like me, I say I like to, people might think it sounds weird, but like I say I like to prepare for the worst, so that way if I get hit with something, like, hey, you never know. I was prepared for it mentally, so life's going to throw things at you. You got to just try to stay positive. I believe, mental health is a really big thing in men, especially. People think like they're weird for some reason. And they feel like they don't feel comfortable enough to talk about their issues with people. So it's like, hey man, like to anybody here watching, anybody out there, like I tell everybody all the time, I'm a phone call away, call me, man, because mental health is really something that's out there. I know people that, have taken their lives over it. And, if feel free to reach out, man, to, whoever, and just don't be scared to talk about problems, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be light at the end of that tunnel. It's just up to you if you're going to be willing to push and find that light.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So I just like to tell people, man, just stay positive, man. Don't it's not the end of your days until the good guy says it is. Just keep it pushing and just, give it your all and everything you got. And yeah, man. It's pretty much all I got to say, man. Thanks again for having me, and just everyone have a blessed night. And I always like to say, bless up, man. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget, New Styles 13124 Southwestern Avenue. If you ever need a haircut, whatever you need, hot towels, lineups, graphics, kid cuts, razor shaves, we do it all. Stop on by. You're more than welcome. And that's it, man. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the podcast, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the blessings, and I agree with you 100%. If you want to talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. There's plenty of people around here, especially us in the league. If you're in the league and you need to talk to somebody, just message somebody. There's somebody willing to listen at all times, all right?
Absolutely.
So shout out to everyone. Stay positive. There's always light at the end of the tunnel,
Yep.
all right? Now, I do have a surprise for everyone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. So
drum roll, please.
hopefully you guys stuck around to the end. So starting today, moving forward, until we reach this goal, I have we're gonna be doing a raffle, right? So for those people who don't know, last week's episode was sponsored by Stallion Bats. I got one of the bats right here. Got this one right here. It's a 33-inch maple, pro maple, and honestly, I like the bat.
I like
it a lot.
I like it.
And I was thinking it over the weekend. I want to get one of these away, right?
That's
so
awesome.
gonna do a raffle. So this is what do you need to do? How do you enter the raffle so you can win one of these bats? Very simple. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, follow my YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is actually called 2nd Life, just like you see it at the bottom right there. 2NDCITYLIFE. Look it up. Follow me. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I will go ahead and raffle one of these. It won't be this one right here, but I promise you it'll be a good one from Stallion Bats. So just go ahead. And this is not sponsored by Stallion Bats. I just believe in the company.
That's awesome.
And I want to support them. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase that bat out of my pocket. And I'll have it on the podcast so you guys can take a look at it. What you could potentially win. Simple, very, very simple. Just got to go on the YouTube channel, click subscribe for it. Doesn't cost you anything but a click.
Make sure you guys do that, man, because, hey, this guy supports the movement. He supports, the Blue Island Men's Baseball League. Like he says, he goes out there, takes pictures of us. He does an amazing job with everything. So there's no reason why, man, we can't get this guy past 1,000 followers or subscribers on his YouTube channel. And, hey, look what he's trying to do. He's trying to give a nice, well-furbished bat back to, a lucky person. So let's make sure we get my boy Edgar, man, to those 1,000 subscribers, and let's keep it growing, guys.
So till next time, tune in next week Thursday. So tentatively it will be Thursday, but Thursday is Halloween. So I might reschedule to a day before. Stay tuned for that. I will make a post this week. I missed the post promoting this week's episode. Just a busy week, but best believe that I will have a set post for next week if it's not on Thursday. Otherwise, tune in Thursday at 7:30. And after that, again, keep tuning in on Thursdays, all right? So till next time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending, an hour and a half of your day watching us talk about everything from baseball to business, right? So
appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night, man. And, hey, bless up. Stay safe out there.
Hiring a great developer can be really hard without the right tools. Freelancer profiles on Upwork are so helpful when I'm trying to vet talent. All the information